Hello and welcome to this episode of the Discourse Collective. Hello to the small but ever-growing group of free thinkers that follow this channel. We're very glad to see you back. Today we're talking about human labour and its future. The old 9 to 5, the coalface, call it what you will. It's an integral part of our lives, whether trying to find one or actively engaged in one, while a lucky few actually no longer need one. Now, we're not focusing on wage inequality today, which needs a video of its own right. Our focus today is how the future, with its drive to automation, might look. Now, the concept of a zero human labour economy is a modern one. It's crazy to think that in my lifetime, we'll be on the verge of experiencing a world where most jobs are replaced, if not completely, then mostly by technology. But is this really the case? Is this really going to come to pass? Are we shortly to be surrounded by robots doing our every bidding? Well, let's dive right into that conversation. So, a job. By definition, it's the regular work that individuals do to earn money. It gives a sense of pride and self-satisfaction as one reaffirms to themselves that they can support not just their own needs, but those of their loved ones. It promotes independence and personal achievement. And even more than that, it provides direction and purpose. As you know, you have a place where you are needed and your efforts are valued. Or at least this is as it should be in the perfect world. And as you'll have no doubt noticed, we sadly don't live in a perfect world. Now, the major economic changes over the last 150 years define this workplace revolution. Firstly, the first industrial revolution, which started at the end of the 18th century and carried on through to the beginning of the 19th century. It was defined by mechanisation, where agriculture started to be replaced by industry as the backbone of societal economy. The second industrial revolution began in the 19th century, shouldering massive technological advancements in the industries that helped the emergence of new sources of energy, such as electricity and gas and oil. The dawn of demand for steel, chemical synthesis, telephone and telegraph systems, combined with automobile and plane transport, also occurred in this defining era. Now, these first two industrial revolutions account for significant scientific and technological advances that surely helped us reach the heady heights of today. But it's not without negative effects, since poor working conditions, the exploitation of children and adults have all been a dirty reminder of those that must suffer to bring us these advances. Images of dark satanic hills with children as young as 5 or 6 years old, working 12 to 16 hours a day, 6 days a week without breaks for meals. Now, these are bleak pictures indeed, and they were common through much of Europe at one point, and they still exist today in many parts of the world. Now, the third industrial revolution was born out of nuclear energy, and also brought in the rise of electronics, telecommunications, the internet, and computers. Space expeditions, research biotechnology, as well as programmable logic controllers and robots roared into existence, helping build the high level of automation that we see today. It linked together individuals and groups, allowing us to communicate with distant corners of the world. And it's paved the way for ideas to be shared and innovation to heighten, and has made countless new opportunities. But this rapid advance has come at a cost. The information age has spawned a new set of societal problems. These continue to grow at a really alarming rate. Our interpersonal relationships, along with a sense of community and the sense of political and religious acceptance, have diminished. And with all these movies and media, and all of this information between, our ability for reflection has taken a real beating. It's like we're constantly being bombarded by extreme views. And right at this very moment, we are living in the fourth industrial revolution, which is also known as Industry 4.0. It takes emphasis on digital technology to a whole new level, with the ever-growing combination of manufacturing and industrial platform practices alongside the latest machine-to-machine and Internet of Things smart technologies. We do business, we manufacture products, and we provide services far more intelligently now. We are capable of mass-producing quality products with high levels of flexibility and customization, increased productivity, efficiency and quality in processes, and even with higher safety for workers and improved competitiveness, are all on the rise thanks to these modern innovations. Quality of life is said to be on the up in our current era, but how true is this? Ever-present drawbacks such as over-reliance on technology decreases the will of human beings to use their intellect and physical power. The rise of the virtual world too has become preferable to the physical world, increasing the distance between a person and their family. the spread of false news or fake news, which we've looked at, and I'll put a link up there, the threat to privacy, the rise of cyberbullying and hate speech, the overuse of data, and the scope of our enjoyment are really at stake when you look at these overarching problems. But what is all of this doing to our employment rates? Well, let's take a look. So, as our employment to population worldwide, starting from the 1950, let's look at the beginning rates. You see rates at the beginning of about 56.6%. You fast forward by another 40 years, and we're at 63.3. By the start of the 2000s, we're at 64.6, and as we closed this rate last December in 2021 with 59.5. But what does this all mean and what does it entail? Well, many of us, including myself, are wondering whether all the advancement in technology is to blame. Have we reached the tipping point and the net loss of jobs is now due to the technology we're using? Could killing jobs be one of them? Reports that I've linked to below show as many as 30% of jobs will be replaced by automation, and the ones that are boring and repetitive are at risk first. Statistics say that 375 million jobs worldwide will be lost. Food preparation, cleaning and driving are most at risk, with around 60% becoming automated. Aside from them, administration, financial services, construction and hospitality will all be affected. 14 million robots are operating in China, for instance, at the moment, as a replacement for workers, and this continues apace in what was a very conventional manpower-only set of jobs. But fear not. More figures suggest that technology will, by 2023, have created at least 12 million more jobs than it's destroyed. Arguably then, automation is a net positive for our society in the short term. This is because as much as technology kills jobs, it's also now capable of manifesting new ones. Over the years, we have also witnessed a considerable escalation in new jobs and roles, thanks to advancements in technology and science. Does this mean a zero human labour economy will never exist? Well, for instance, we now have a digital marketing specialist, a social media manager, chief listening officer, blogger, search engine optimization specialist, app designer, app developer, big data analyst, website copywriter, virtual assistant, YouTuber. The list goes on. Modern jobs such as virtual shoppers and genetic counsellors were born out of this type of technology, and all of these jobs are impactful and able to support those who choose them comfortably. So it appears that technology has a double-edged role to play in this. But we should not forget the companies who make decisions in the automation of jobs. The primary motivation for these companies remain efficiency in production, higher profit, better safety, removal of the risk of human error, and greater choice in the goods, and ultimately the lowering of the costs in the production of those goods. Really, in simple terms, it's all about money. But what's the end game of all of this? So capitalism is bound to try to provide the best product or service at the most competitive price. As a system, it does not tolerate inefficiencies. Where paid human positions can be replaced with technological alternatives for a lower cost, it is bound to happen. Self-driving vehicles, AI, and advanced and nano robotics are liable to see sooner or later larger and larger numbers of unemployed. The final form of this will be a fairly mind-blowing circle. The government will pay a universal basic income to those who are unemployed. The income will be spent by the people on the products and services provided by these largely automated companies. Their profit will then be taxed, paid back to the people in the form of universal income. The government will simply be the middleman, taking and giving tax to different people, and then giving benefits. The capitalist system will eat its own tail, in effect. This leads us to the inevitable conclusion that the greatest efficiency will mean corporation tax is abolished pro rata with the products and services that a company simply gives away at zero profit. Now, obviously, this system can't work from a capitalist perspective, but it can work from an effective altruism perspective, and that's a topic we'll be looking at soon on this channel. Now, with this, how do we decide to move forward? Do we have to worry about technology vanishing away jobs? One thing is sure, that while jobs can be eliminated by technology, in the short term it will create more, but for how much longer? It will all boil down to how society deals with the spectre of low to zero employment. What jobs will appear and disappear? How can we best prepare our children for a new world in which jobs are no longer at the heart of what we do in our lives? None of this will become an issue before we move to a post-scarcity world, and there are many pressing issues before we reach that point. But prepare we must. Failure now to start thinking about how we could support 90 to 95% unemployment could lead to a total failure of society and a truly dystopian future. So, a cheery end to this episode, but please don't let that put you off. There is plenty here to be hopeful for. What do you think is the likely future of our work lives? Are we going to manage our way through post-capitalism and into a glorious post-scarcity future? Your comments are what help inform this discourse, so please do let us know what you think down there somewhere. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, and I very much hope you have, we would love you to like this video and subscribe to this channel. It really does help if you'd like to see more from us. Until next time, goodbye.